Hey, this is John Young. Today we're looking at a wet dry vac here from Greenworks. This is in their 60 volt line, which is in their Greenworks Pro line. They've got the 40, they've got the 24 with some smaller tools. 40 volt is very common. 60 is kind of this really cool sweet spot, and then they've got some 80 in additional. I really am a huge fan of the 60. They've got blowers, they've got mowers, they've got snow blowers, they've got different tools in that line that are absolutely fabulous. This is their wet dry vac. This is a 9-gallon wet dry vac, and we're going to, in this video, we're just going to go and kind of show you how to put it together, to kind of talk you through it so it's not as intimidating. You can buy this as a bare tool, which means that it doesn't have the batteries with it. Or you can purchase it with the batteries. I had the batteries, so I did not purchase it with the batteries. So it was around that $100 mark, somewhere in that $100 to $150 range is where it's commonly at. What it comes with the little piece. It's an attachment for the accessories, and it has a crevice tool and a little bit of a wider tool in there. It has the 4 casters. It has a couple of little extensions, and then inside it has the flexible hose. There's not a ton of really difficulty in putting this together. The biggest thing to keep in mind is that where the casters and everything go on this, it isn't just snapped in. There's actually little screws on this, so you've got to take your little Phillips screwdriver, remove this screw, put the little caster on there, and then put the replace the screw or put the screw back in, and it will hold it all together. And that's pretty much with all 4 casters and the little accessory spot. There's actually 2 screws that hold the accessories on the back. Now, what's unusual about this is a lot of the kind of this mid-size wet dry vac will have your intake, and it has the out, so air going in, air going out type of thing, and that's pretty much about it. With Greenworks, they actually have a little spot down here, so if you're using it as a wet vac, you can actually shut it off and drain everything from down here, which is absolutely cool. Well, let's look at the battery compartments first. The battery compartments, there's one on each side, because this is, if it's plugged in, it's 120 volt, 110 volt, what have you. But when it's running off batteries, it needs 2 batteries. It can't run off just one. It has to run off both, because the 2 batteries, 60 volt, adds to 120 volt. The switch to decide if you're going to go battery, off, or cord. So you're going to have similar suction, and that's probably the coolest thing about this particular unit. A lot of our battery-operated wet dry vacs are coming in the CFM somewhere between 40 and 60. There's a couple that push a little higher, but most of them are going to, and these are some of the big names, are coming in between 40 and 60. More common is 40 CFM than 60. Now, this particular unit comes in over 90 CFM. That's getting into, obviously, corded wet dry vacs, but it's getting to the top end of the corded wet dry vacs. There are some wet dry vacs that are more than that, but 90 is a really kind of a good range for giving you a nice combination of power and suction and size and money, I mean cost, because we do have one here in the office that is over 100, and it was 4 times the money that this particular one was. It was a very expensive one. Now, the battery compartments, they just pop open like that. There isn't any special gasketing or anything. It's just that there's a little lip and it closes down over it. And our batteries, let me make sure. You gotta make sure there's the little holes where the contacts are of the battery. Make sure those line up. You drop the battery in until it clicks in, and we're good to go. We'd obviously put both batteries in to release. And the little trip here, 2 little springs on the bottom that pop it up a little bit, and there's your battery. Now inside, we mentioned that, let me just hold this up a little bit. Inside is our hose, so we can put that on. And then we have our filter here. Just kind of put this over here so you guys can kind of see this a little bit. Actually, let's just flip it right upside down. Now the filter is very common for a wet dry vac. Then all we need to do is kind of turn our top kind of clockwise, and then it loosens it up so we can take it out. And then the filter is kind of a compression fit here, so I'm just going to kind of wiggle it a little bit to get it to slide up, because it's got large kind of rubber gaskets that are holding it on. And then This has the little float, so if you're using it as a wet back, that obviously flipped upside the right way, water will fill and it will put the float up there, and then all of a sudden you'll hear it sounding like it's plugged. That's when it's full. The filter itself has a pleated filter on the inside and it has foam on the outside. This, if you're going to use a wet dry vac, this has to come out. So you take this out and set it off to the side. Then you use it once the unit is completely cleaned out and dried. Then and only then will you put the filter back on, like so. So that's just kind of in a nutshell a little bit about how to put this together and getting it ready for use. I'm just going to turn that. There we go. I have it lined up properly. I'm going to put the feet on it, put the casters on and get it ready to go. And then we're going to do a little demonstration with it in just a few minutes in the next video, so you guys can pop out and watch that. And we'll kind of give you an idea of what 90 CFM can do in a wet dry vac. This is John Young with the Weekend Handyman. Thank you for watching. Links for this product will be in the description below and you can check it out.
For more tips and how-to videos, go to weekendhandyman.com.